everyone, and welcome to episode 57 of Gamestack podcast. All you need is love. All you need is love. Okay, we're just gonna
Helter Skelter.
All right.
That might have been the longest dead air we've ever had. Ever.
I'm Shalene, and joining me today is Vendertron
Welcome, sir or madam.
and Rick McVick.
Hello.
How are you gentlemen doing?
Swell.
Yeah. Sweltering.
Doing swell, Shalene. How are you?
And I want to talk about it.
Doing swill.
Great.
Yeah, it was a week. It was 7 days that passed, and here we are again.
It hasn't been 7 days since the last podcast, though.
Hasn't it?
Technically, no.
Oh, well.
It will be at midnight, but...
One could say it's also January 57th, it feels.
It does, man.
January's long, man.
January has been the longest year. It's just...
We're on Jeremy month.
January, January's been the worst month so far. And it's like, no, it's been the worst month yet.
Ron January?
2020. Like, I don't know. The decade has really fallen apart. right out of the gate, you guys. Everything just totally...
What if this is the height of the decade and it's all down over here?
Oh man. Well, if that is the case, then this is the beginning of Armageddon. So
It's not going to be the height of the decade because I should be opening up my little studio next month. So.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize we were that close.
Yes. And also, I learned some shanties on my dulcimer.
Really?
Farewell and adieu to
Kind of.
Spanish lady.
More like Kentucky stuff, but still.
I thought you meant like sea shanties.
It sounds close enough.
I'm really excited, Rick. I'm really excited. You have to play some dulcimer for us later, okay?
Okay.
Guys, you know what I'm also excited for? All of our lovely listeners who are live in the chat with us right now.
Like who?
Kawaii Banana Sushi, Tone Crusher, Vosselsla, Timothy Hunter, Staged Link, the Dead Plant. Welcome, guys. Come on in. Archin, always lovely to have you here.
Indeed. We're very glad that you could all join us live. We're also very excited about all of you who are joining us at home or in the car or at
on
a
the
marathon,
toilet,
wherever you are when you listen to our podcast.
In the bathtub.
Tell us where you listen to our podcast. I'm interested to know.
Yeah, actually,
maybe I don't want to know. Maybe I don't.
No, I want to know. I want to know. Like, if you're listening from prison, write into the show.
Let us know. Yeah.
If you're on a cruise ship, you should probably be doing better things with your vacation. But
maybe they're a cruise ship employee.
Possibly.
I can just imagine right now. Dear sir or madam, last Tuesday I strangled a guy and he happened to be listening to your show and I stole his phone and I saw that he was listening to Gamestack.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Instead of Tone Crusher, it'd be like Throat Crusher.
Oh dear.
Oh man.
Oh my
Well,
Lord.
it's gonna be a lot.
So
okay.
It's
gonna be a show.
If you are in prison and need some more things to listen to, you
What
might
about an emotional
out,
prison?
You might. Well, I mean, we're all there.
We define our own prisons,
indeed.
Rick.
We created our own prisons.
I turned my prison into a prison and burst into a rainbow.
I can't even keep up with you gentlemen today. Check out the latest episode of That Fallout Show, in which we chatted with Victoria Rosenthal, author of the official Fallout cookbook. It was fabulous. It was a lovely conversation.
Fantastic show. Mm-hmm.
And we talked about like video game food in general and some other cool stuff. So even if you're not a huge Fallout fan, even though I know that's where most of you found us, this is a great episode to check out. So
yeah, it was really wonderful to have her there and to get some sneak peeks on things that she's working on that will be coming, and also to have her with us as a guest host for the rest of the show as well. It was nice to have her weigh in on news and things like that. It was very
I gotta,
fun.
I gotta say, Vendor, you did a really excellent job at interviewing. It was
You
a
did,
really
Bender.
good job.
You killed it.
Yeah, don't it.
Okay.
Accept it.
Well,
Take the
the thing is, and here we are planning the show on the show. Shalene and I made it a conversation. We didn't make it an interview.
Well,
And
right,
I
I know, but
think that's what made it work, you know?
leading
Anyways,
the...
Victoria's listening to this. She's never going to come back now. But it was wonderful to have her on the show. And we would love to have her back again for future cookbooks that are in the
Indeed.
works. So,
That
yeah.
would be lovely.
I still think she should do a Resident Evil one.
Well,
Oh
if you
my
guys,
gosh,
if you
Resident Evil.
if you guys go to her website, Pixelated Provisions, of which is the brainchild for the official Fallout cookbook, there are a ton of recipes from a ton of games, and I'm pretty sure I've seen Resident Evil in there.
Ooh.
Are you
Yeah.
serious? Like,
Mhm.
ooh.
Literally, it's just going to be called, like, What's in the Pot? Because we don't really know either.
Yeah. Mystery meat stew. So, host us on Twitch if you're watching live. If you're not, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your grandma's friends. And,
Tell your cellmate.
And to your cellmate.
Or your soulmate.
Share it with everyone in the pod.
Good save. Good save, Rick.
Nice.
That was pretty good.
Really nice.
5-star review shout outs is the thing that we do. So if you leave us a 5-star review, we will shout you out on the show. We don't have any this time because you guys are falling down on the job. So if you're at
Slackers.
home and you haven't left us that 5-star review on iTunes, we're looking at you right now. That awkward
That was
silence
us
was for
looking at
you. Yeah,
Shalene wanted to do that so you would all look at her beautiful eyelashes. but-
exactly. But we
if you
do.
want to, if you want to get involved in the chat after dark, though, we have some new people in the Discord. Should I roll through that, Shalene?
Yes, please.
All right, so we've got a few new people. Actually, we'd like to send a great big welcome to Bunk, Hoop McJohnson, Timothy Hunter, the Mighty Blot, and present this week in our corner of shame, Van Sylvan 66 and Brock DeMock, who were both booted from the server for
I think if you wanted to use profanity in the server, now would be the time. Because Echo's not working, Vendor.
Really?
Yeah. I
Has
tried
it
to use
finally-
the cats command, and there were no cats.
Oh,
Archie
maybe.
had to come and post cats.
So I know that the devs, the creators of Echo, announced last year that it would be going to a pay service model, and so perhaps now we have lost the ability to use that bot. Perhaps I should be shopping for a new one. But
Yeah.
if you would, if you would like to join us in the Discord, you are more than welcome to. All you have to do is scroll down below us in the Twitch page right now below Rick. There's a link. And if you are listening in the aftermath of today's live show, you can also send us a personal message on any social media platform, and we can make sure that you get a link. Or you can come to our Twitch page, twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. The link is there. So, and one last welcome back to Jess. She went on vacation, and she enabled 2-factor authentication in Discord, and it screwed up her existing Discord account, and she couldn't log in. And she sent a message to Discord asking for help, and they said, sorry, I can't do anything for you. And so she basically had to create an entirely new Discord. And so welcome back, Jess.
Are we sure about this? Or has someone assumed the identity of Jess?
Entirely possible. But I did ask her some inquisitive questions about things that only Jess would know. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And we cross-reference the whole Animal Crossing thing.
Yes.
So, yeah. It's
Lovely. Well, welcome back, Jess. We're always glad to have you. Today on Gamestack, we are going to talk about the news, including new releases and free stuff. That is one of my favorite segments that we do. We have a special Valentine's Day themed segment in advance of that holiday. Some gameplay stories and a lovely listener email. But first, some news. This just in. Tell us about the new releases, Rick.
Well, this is what you can expect in February. Zombie Army sorry. I misread that. Zombie Army 4: Dead War. That comes out on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on February the 4th. Then after that, on February the 4th, actually, let me see how many are on February. Two more on February the 4th. Monster Energy Supercross, the official game 3. Why can't they just...
Monster Energy drinks? I thought the official Monster Energy drink was Death Stranding.
Yeah. So yeah, you can get Monster.
That was a good one. That was a good one. You're good.
I misread this one too. Sorry, Monster Energy Supercross Dash, the official video game 3. On PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia.
I think the game is Supercross, but it's sponsored by
Monster Energy.
Monster Energy, yeah.
I don't know. Also on February 4th, you get the Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance Tactics.
Did you guys
PC,
Did you guys try? Sorry, you weren't done, and I wasn't
done. I was in the parentheses. I did not make it to the date. PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. Go.
I was just going to ask if you guys had watched or attempted to watch The Dark Crystal on Netflix.
No, I don't have Netflix anymore.
It's really bad.
I have to get it again.
Really? I heard good things about it.
Now that I'm rolling in it.
Maybe I just couldn't get back to the whole puppets.
Yeah.
Maybe I just couldn't move back an era.
You got problems with puppets?
Did they creep you out?
No, I'm so used to modern
like animation and stuff.
Video.
Like terrible CGI.
It was really bad.
This looks practical.
Yeah, like the mouths did not match up with the words. It just bothered me. Yeah. It looks really like they put a lot of work into it though. So the game is intriguing.
Yeah, so Dark Crystal Age of Colon Resistance. Age of Resistance.
That's
63.
I was
that
just
is
gonna make
retirement.
a similar joke. You're the best.
Age of Resistance. Resistance.
Moving right along. I love that this is a regular segment. So on February the 11th.
Sponsored by Metamucil.
Yeah.
What was that? Yogurt? Gogurt? No, not Gogurt. That's a different.
Activia.
Activia. Yeah.
Yeah. So on February 11th, you can get Yakuza 5 remastered on PlayStation 4. Then on February 13th, you can expect such gem as Necronator: Dead Wrong - Steam Early Access. PC.
Necronator?
Wow. That's
I am the Necronator.
That's not a word you. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
that sounds like something you go to prison for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that narcolepsy? No.
Moving on.
This is a Valentine's. We're talking about love.
What is what is necrophilia's practice? Necromancy. Necromancy?
Oh,
you get
that's so bad.
Necromance. I'm a necromancer. Anyway,
would it be necromantic?
Speaking of necromantic things, on February 14th,
oh,
Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate comes out on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. Also on the day of Necromance, you can expect other gems like Street Fighter V: Champion Edition, Champion on PC, PlayStation 4. Then you get Dreams on PlayStation 4. That's all it says. I actually appreciate that one. It's just dreams, of which everything fails. I don't know why.
Everyone should have dreams.
We should make a game and call it something, but put no words before it. Just
just colon something.
colon something.
So, and then I think that's it for the Day of Love. So after that, February 18th, Bayonetta and Vanquish 10th Anniversary Bundle comes out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. On February 20th, you get the Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition for the Switch. And then you get on February 21st, oh boy, Draugen, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It is a first-person fjord noir mystery. It's like
Surprising
a Viking detective.
no one. I am interested in this game.
Yeah. Well, this actually kind of is interesting. Like, just like we're going to go there and solve that mystery.
He's not dead. He's resting. He's pining for the fjords.
I made a Monty Python joke today. Like, someone in a Discord was like joking about Brexit, and I was like, "What did some moistened bint throw his lava scimitar at someone else now?" He's like, and then someone else was like, "No, they've become an autonomous commune."
Oh man. Okay.
Anyway,
well,
so that that's on February 21st. On February 25th, you can get 2 Point Hospital.
Yes, it's so good, you guys. It would be really fun on Switch, actually.
It's on the Switch on the 25th.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It would be really fun.
Oh,
on
okay.
Switch.
I thought you were suggesting. Then also the same day, you can get Conan Chop Chop, which I hope is not. I don't know. Is it like a goofy version of like Conan Barbarian?
It's like Baby Conan, Baby Conan with
I
an
actually
axe.
played this at E3.
Oh yeah.
And you play as a little chibi Conan.
See, there
and
it is.
It's like a kind of a top-down. I believe it's a bit of a roguelike. It was okay. It was
what you'd expect.
It was a game. It was better than Conan Exiles.
Did it also have schlong physics?
No, a game called Conan Chop Chop should not have schlong physics.
The schlong physics were the only good part of Conan Exiles. That was the only thing that they actually got accurate.
I would have spent so much time in the character creation, just like moving him back and forth real quick, letting the physics engines.
Yeah. You just like
him.
walk from side to side like you do an arc, and it just swings. Yeah.
Just a swinging. Anyway, also
We're
on
gonna.
February 25th.
This show needs to be. We need to make it 18 plus. We gotta put a disclaimer on this episode.
The problem is, and I think I'll be honest here. Never mind.
Maybe don't be honest.
I've got a rash. Infliction: Extended Cut comes out on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch on February 21st, and then you get Overpass, which is on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on the 27th of February.
Infliction: Extended Cut.
And then you get on February 28th, Marvel's Iron Man VR comes out on PSVR. And then, ironically enough, because apparently this PR team is terrible, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14 comes out on the 28th for PC and PlayStation 4. But
Romance of the Three Kingdoms games?
But not on February 14th. But not on February 14th. Like, it's Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14 on February 28th.
I don't know where they come up with this stuff.
Come on, guys. Crunch time. Let's see here. Also on the 28th, if Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14 wasn't intriguing enough, you can get One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows. PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. And then on no specific dates known yet, you can get Dungeon Defenders, Awakened on the Switch sometime in February. So there you go. Riveting list of games that are coming out in February. Anything interest you two?
2 Point Hospital I've played before, and I can say that it is a lot of fun. So I recommend that. The Dark Crystal would be really cool, but it's not my style of game. It'd be different if it was a story-based.
I think this looks like an excellent month to catch up on the stack.
Yeah.
I do agree.
Agreed.
Well, this might sway you. Free games coming out for PlayStation Plus. BioShock The Collection.
Oh.
So that's coming out on PlayStation Plus. Then you get The Sims 4 on PS Plus and Firewall 0 Hour, which is on PSVR. So those are the free games for PlayStation. Xbox to not be beaten by PlayStation. With Games with Gold, you get TT Isle of Man, which I think is a touring racing game, which is February 1st to the 29th. You can get Call of Cthulhu on February 16th through the 29th. And then Fable Heroes, February 1st through the 15th. And Star Wars Battlefront, the OG Xbox One, on February 16th through the 29th. And if those two don't tickle your fancy, maybe you can twitch your fancy with Twitch Prime. You get American Fugitive, a top-down GTA-inspired action game. Desert Child, a hoverbike racing RPG. Narcos, the Rise of the Cartels, a brutal turn-based strategy game. Doesn't sound
Hey,
quite so brutal.
that would be interesting.
What?
Narcos, Rise of the
Narcos?
Cartels.
Um,
Be fun.
Steridon, a chaotic space shooter, and White Knight, a survival horror puzzle game, and free loot for games like Destiny 2, Apex Legends, League of Legends, and Rainbow Six Siege. There you go.
Siege.
Well,
Rick, you forgot there's other free games, you know. You
Are there?
forgot. Yeah.
Well,
So
free my mind of this burden of forgetting.
Right now, you guys, Epic Store, on the Epic Store, you can get Farm Sim 19 for free.
Yes.
I will pass.
And
I'm very excited to go farm with you, vendor.
I think I've got Farm Sim 19. I think it might be Farm Sim 18. Let me take a look.
Go ahead.
No,
Well,
it's 19.
Get
it's
it
19.
now while it's free if you don't have it. So that we can go farm together. It's going to be magnificent.
Yes. And for anybody who is listening after February 2nd, I'm sorry. It is no longer free. So you can access Farm Sim 19 on the Epic Games Store until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on February the 2nd. And after that, it will appear... there will be a trio of Asmodee digital games that will take place. So you can access Carcassonne, which is an adaptation of the classic tile placement board game. Ticket to Ride, which was another board game-based video game about trains. And then also Pandemic. You will be able to get that for free after February 2nd as well.
So is Farm Sim 19 just a trial? It's basically...
I don't know, Shalem. What do you have to say about that?
It looked like the whole game when I purchased it just a moment ago.
Oh, okay.
Let's go and check. We're going to open up the Epic Launcher right now.
I think it might be the whole game.
Live on air. We're going to check this out.
So you can get that free, but there's also some really good deals on the Steam store, you guys. I know that you guys like Rockstar Games. Who doesn't? Rockstar Games is having a publisher sale on Steam right now. You can get a various smattering of games
it is the
for
full
up
game.
to 70%
full game?
off.
Oh, cool, good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's there are some DLCs that are available for purchase, but you get the full base game.
Well,
to be perfectly honest, the base
solved.
game is there's enough in the base game, to be honest. But yes,
Honestly?
there is also the Rockstar Publisher Games sale on Steam. So you can get Red Dead Redemption 2 20% off, Grand Theft Auto 5 50% off, Grand Theft Auto 3 65% off, as well as Vice City and San Andreas. Max Payne 1 and 2 65% off, Max Payne 3 70% off. LA Noire, you can get 70% off, the complete edition, as well as the VR case files, that is 50% off. You can also get episodes from Liberty City for Grand Theft Auto, 65% off. Bully, the Scholarship Edition, and Manhunt, also available for 65% off. So if you've been putting off getting some of those games, now would be a good time to go and cash in. That's pretty much it for sales and free things. Do you guys want to talk about some news? Some other news?
Let's do.
Well, do you guys know how, like, you know, everybody's always harping on video games because they make people lazy and they're really bad for your health. And
Yeah,
they're
that's
violent
why we're all a bunch
violent.
of obese.
They cause mass
murderers.
shootings and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, a new study out of the School of Physical and Occupational Therapy at McGill University in Quebec. They did a study looking at video games and physical activity. And research, as we know it, has shown that exercise and has many physical and cognitive benefits. But what if exercise could actually benefit video game performance? This was the central tenet or the research question of the study itself. And so the research team at McGill University set out to ask whether or not exercise would have a benefit on video game performance. And as we all know, video game performance is pretty important now with esports and all kinds of things. Basically, so far, a lot of studies have actually shown that an increased screen time, especially with video games, is associated with lower levels of physical activity. Why? Because you're sitting. Most people don't really, run on a treadmill while they're looking at a screen. I tried to do that once, but I got like motion sickness because I was trying to concentrate on the letters and I couldn't do it. Anyways, in conducting their work, they showed that as little as 15 minutes of intense cardiovascular exercise performed immediately before playing a video game improved the performance of popular online video games such as League of Legends specifically. And they took a group of young individuals who were asked to either perform in cardiovascular exercise or rest immediately before playing the same customized mission in League of Legends. And what they found was that the performance in the video game was observed and documented and found to be better in the group that had received the exercise treatment. So this positive relationship between exercise and video games could have a pretty important impact on video games worldwide, especially because, we're always harping, well, not me personally, but the general public is always harping on how video games are so bad. And for me, I think as somebody who works in the health field and is a researcher, this makes sense to me. Exercise improves our ability to pay more attention to things. Why wouldn't it increase video game performance? But yeah, I thought this was a really cool article to share. What do you guys think?
Very
I think it makes total sense. Who knew that doing exercise, increasing blood flow, and activating your body would help with cognitive whatever.
Yes, so some good work.
Attention.
Some good
Lately,
work.
you need some exercise, dear.
I did exercise before I did the show tonight. I did.
Well,
So
regardless, some good work coming out of McGill University. Thank you to the research team there for sharing that and allowing us to be able to talk about it on our show. It's really nice. And if you're tired from exercising, you know what you can do? You can get a little bit of R&R. And what do you do to get R&R?
I would like to go on a little vacation.
Read and write?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do all of those things in the comfort of your own hotel room, hell room, whatever you want to call it.
Where are you staying?
So get this. The original makers of the Atari video game, you guys know Atari, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Also Pong, Asteroids, Roller Coaster Tycoon. The original makers of these video games are taking a new approach to their entrepreneurialism and investing in a chain of hotels. And this comes with the popularity of esports. What we can expect is that we will begin to see construction of Atari's first ever video game themed hotels. And the company we know was created in the 70s. And they are basically promising a stay for people in their hotels that combines a one-of-a-kind video game themed destination with immersive virtual and augmented reality experiences. So that's kind of cool.
I want the key cards to be Atari cartridges.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that I wonder if they're gonna have like I'm really curious now.
And they better have like playable games in the room, right?
Oh, of course.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
As you're walking down the hallway, like randomly a barrel will roll at you. You have to jump over.
Yeah. So the idea for this actually, I mean, we've seen video game hotels before. These exist in Japan or Korea, I think.
Sure.
And other parts of the world. We've talked about it on Gamestack before. But this idea came about when GSD Group, which is a company that manages hotels, owns hotels, worked with the so-called legacy brands and Napoleon Smith III, an executive producer of the recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, started thinking about Atari last fall and eventually presented the company with the idea for their hotel. And so Shelley Murphy, who is the founder of GSD Group, said that the plan was to create an ecosystem that would look at combining eat, sleep, and play all together in one happy little place. So you can join the masses and enjoy some retro video game themed rooms and futuristic designs and VR and augmented reality, all within the comfort of your own hotel stay. So I think that's really cool. The first
Combining eat,
hotel.
sleep, and play sounds like an honorable mission statement to me.
Also,
I
I
think-
realized that.
Go ahead, Rick.
I was gonna say. Also, I realized that if the key cards for your room was like an Atari cartridge, you'd have to blow on it every time you have to
Yes.
get your door open. You're like, why is it not?
Yeah.
Where's the alcohol? Put the alcohol on it.
Yeah, it's I think that this would be very attractive for introverts. People who just want to have time to get away by themselves and just play nothing but video games. Yeah.
A bed in Wreckfest.
Yeah.
You're gonna kill those
So you
Space
can
Invaders.
expect the first hotel will show up in Phoenix. Construction is scheduled to begin this fall and should be
Phoenix?
completed within 18 to 24 months.
The hotbed society magnet known as Phoenix.
Are they putting it in the underground missile silo?
Yeah, that would be cool. My
Phoenix?
guess is it's going to be somewhere in Scottsdale, probably. But
That's weird. That's a weird place to put it.
you can expect some additional hotels. They have plans for Las Vegas, Denver, Chicago, Austin, Seattle, San Francisco, San Jose, and other locations throughout the United States. So that's pretty cool. Their main goal is to cater to the esports world, but I think that they could see this coming to a lot of people, a lot of different types of gamers.
We'll find out.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Would you stay at one of those? Shalene, I know you take your Xbox with you on holidays.
I have been known to do that, yes, in the days before there was the Switch. Now I usually just take that. But yeah, I would stay in an Atari hotel if it was, reasonably priced and somewhere that I wanted to go. I would absolutely stay in an Atari hotel.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of, I can see this being really big for esports, especially because hotels often host conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have these leagues and things like that, then you have people staying in the hotel. Why would you need to go anywhere else? Yeah. Interesting.
I think that would be fun to stay in an Atari hotel.
There is, so esports is not only being impacted by a new hotel chain, they're also being impacted by the coronavirus epidemic that has sprung up in China.
Does everyone have hangovers? All the corona?
So the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak in China has impacted the esports world. And over the Overwatch League, which is scheduled to happen across the country throughout the month of March, has now been canceled. And this is due to concerns of the rise in cases and the exponential growth of this virus and its epidemic. So they're saying that the coronavirus has forced the organizers of China's League of League Pro League. Did you get that? Want me to repeat it? China's
Please.
League of League Pro League to cancel upcoming matches earlier this week. And Overwatch League is the latest to fall foul to the epidemic itself. There are fears that this could have other impacts to the esports world. This is now the third season in which Overleague has adopted a new 27-week regular season format, introducing home and away games. However, there are 20 city-based teams who host Homestead weekends in their respective home arenas throughout the U.S., China, South Korea, France, Canada, and the U.K. So this decision cancels about various things throughout weeks 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7, in which the events take place in various locations throughout China. So, yeah, so that could have a big impact. We now know that esports is a huge profit. Like the amount of money that it's astronomical. I was actually going to throw an article
It's
in
more
here,
than I
but
expected.
yes, like 16-year-olds are being awarded like $20 million in one match. Like, it's wild. It's crazy.
I have a feeling that there's a esports bubble, and it's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep, I agree with you.
this won't be this healthy for that long. I mean, I think it'll always be healthy, but I don't think it's going to be as astronomically profitable as it is now.
I think what we're going to see is a smattering of new companies, new leagues being created. And then the ones that are more powerful will come in and buy out. And then you'll just have, a few major ones that exist, just like
Yeah.
Coca-Cola and Apple and Amazon.
Even so, I think the money will even out. I think right now it's just all concentrated into a new thing, and that's how it is.
True.
Everyone's just
True.
ballooning up, so then it'll just kind of go. Bleh. But
Mm-hmm.
it'll always be there, which I think is good. I think it's about time gaming got some credibility as far as sporting and competition, things like that.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And I think that it is normalizing video games in society, which is helpful because it's always had a bad rap. It still has a bad rap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Shalene? You've been pretty quiet.
Well, I really don't have much of an opinion on esports really at all. It's probably the biggest hole in my knowledge of gaming. Yeah.
Watch.
When I
You know
open
what?
up
I
the
bet you
folder on
she's like-
esports, a couple of moths fly out.
Next week, we see Shalene on some front page of a newspaper. She just won $25 million in
Do they
Animal
have
Crossing
an
esports.
I was just gonna say, do they have an
Yeah, Animal Crossing.
Do they have an esport for Animal Crossing?
Yeah. Well, Overwatch League is not the only thing to be impacted by the coronavirus, as we're seeing effects throughout the globe on all kinds of economy. But there are some good things that are coming with the coronavirus, if you can believe it or not. Plague Inc., you guys, has had its best month ever.
Oh my goodness. So this is like the nightmare equivalent of Witcher 3 selling a bunch after the show came out.
Popular pandemic simulator Plague Inc., which was released in 2012, has grown in popularity this month amidst the epidemic that is happening in China. The game has been updated and loaded to Steam in 2016, but despite that, it has hit an all-time peak in concurrent players. Approximately 8,452 players, according to Steam charts, which was well over its previous record of 4,600, which was set in April of 2018. So it's interesting. I think that it's pretty obvious, the reason for, people downloading the game is current events. But Plague Inc. actually put out a statement because they want people to, I think this was actually really good of them to put this out. So earlier this week, they put out a tweet and they said, our website is currently offline due to very high player numbers. But we want to make this statement from Endemic Creations, which is the company that developed Plague Inc. They said, Plague Inc. has been out for 8 years now, and whenever there is an outbreak of disease, we see an increase in players as people seek to find out more about how diseases spread and to understand the complexities of viral outbreaks. We specifically designed the game to be realistic and informative while not sensationalizing serious real-world issues. This has been recognized by the CDC and other leading medical organizations around the world. However, please remember that Plague Inc. is a game, not a scientific model or simulation, and that the current coronavirus outbreak is a real very real situation, which is impacting a huge number of people. We would also recommend that players get their information directly from local and global health authorities, such as the CDC, World Health Organization, Public Health Agency of Canada,
Gwyneth
etc.,
Paltrow.
etc. Yeah, Goop Lab. Don't even
Oh
get me
my
started.
gosh.
Garbage. I do not
Oh,
endorse
no.
Goop Lab, just for the record.
Just
It's
Is that the
total.
name of it?
It's total garbage.
Yeah.
She's walking out of vagina. It's
it
weird.
is crazy. She's crazy.
Yeah.
She's
Take it
crazy.
a parsley and
Have you guys ever played Plague? Any of the Plague games?
I
Plague
haven't.
games?
I have not. Do
So
I look
I've-
like a simulator player to you?
I don't know.
Unless it's like how to shoot things simulator.
You like video games. I like video games. That's
We
where I
just
see
love
this
games.
We
In
do.
fact,
Yes. I've played it because naturally, and I will say that it is not realistic or accurate. Not really.
But
Nope.
would you say that it gives a Luddite in the field of epidemics a better understanding than no understanding at all?
No,
No.
because it's sensationalized to make it more enjoyable for the player. So
Well,
it's
okay.
it's dramatic.
Well,
Um,
of course. But
Yeah. So and like in reality, the numbers that you see in Plague Inc. would never really happen. Not in today's day and age. Maybe in the time of Spanish flu or the Black Plague, but definitely not today. So, but it's a cool game. Another really cool game that's kind of centered around public health and epidemiology is Pandemic. Board game. If you guys have ever played that, it is a lot of fun. You should check it out.
never played it.
Yeah, basically you have to like pick a role. So you can either be like an airline pilot or like a healthcare worker or a politician or something. And then you have certain like powers. So like you can either move people around the board if you're an airline pilot. If you're a healthcare worker, then you can cure and like prevent things from spreading. It's a really strategic board game, and you have to work together with people to win. And like if you work together and it works well, then everybody wins. But if you don't work together, you all lose.
is somebody playing as the
No.
virus?
No, the virus is it's just based on chance.
Yeah.
So if you land on a certain space and you pick up a certain card, then you have to, the area becomes infected or something like that. So
That sounds fun.
yeah. Anyways, so that's really all that I had for the news.
Lovely.
Cool.
Thank you so much for that news report, Vendor. Are you up for doing some game stock?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do it. What's going on in the world of GameStock?
Oh boy. It's kind of all over the map. Remember on the last episode of Gamestack, what was that, 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
We had reported these crazy gains on all of the stocks. Everybody was doing well.
Everything was skyrocketing.
Everything is doing terrible now,
The sky is
Except for-
falling.
Yeah.
except for Microsoft and Ubisoft. All the softs are doing well. So Sony closed at $70.18, down $2.17. Microsoft up $5.10, trading at $170.70. Nintendo closed at $45.90, down $2.75. Take-Two closed at $124.64, down $4. Activision closing at $58.48, down $2.39. Ubisoft was up $1.29 today, closing at $15.12. EA closed at $107.92, down $4.21, and 10 Cent Gaming closed at $57.91, down $3.51. And I think that the markets overall are doing quite terrible. The economy across the globe is taking a major hit, and that is partially due to the recent epidemic. Hong Kong in particular, Hong Kong listed gaming stocks have taken a particular beating, especially this week. Official data showed that the Chinese mainland visitor arrivals to Macau plummeted during the Lunar New Year. And by the market close on Wednesday, shares of Melco International Development, Wynn Macau, Sands China, Galaxy Entertainment, and SJM Holdings all had fell between 3 and 6%. So they do speculate that this has something to do with the recent oppression in China, but also the current public health crisis that's going on there. So, but the Chinese economy overall has already been slowing significantly since 2018, as has the US, and Canada especially has really taken a hard hit in the last couple of years. So I think, we're not out of it by any means, but don't sell. Hold fast, everyone. Hold your stocks. Don't sell. When everybody gets fearful and they start selling, that's when everything crashes and comes to a screeching halt. So, yeah. But when times are low, it's always a good time to buy, right?
Indeed.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Vendertron. You did an excellent job helming those segments.
Thanks, Mom.
I'm so proud of you, sweetie.
Gold star.
I have my star mirror. I have a silver star. But
I'm all talked out now. You do the rest.
Okay, I'm gonna take over. So we thought we'd do a little special segment for today's podcast because coming up very shortly is Valentine's Day. We thought it might be nice to talk about maybe some games that you could play with your significant other, whether or not they are a gamer. So I just thought that might be a fun thing to talk about, just some games
Okay.
that you can play if you want to, if the economy is tanked and you can't really afford, a fancy date and dozens of roses.
That's pretty much it.
And stay home, play video games, enjoy each other's company. Overcooked was the first one. I'm going to go through my little list here, and then you guys can add any suggestions that you have as
muted.
well.
I was trying to say
I
something.
know you were all.
I thought you were just like mad at me, just like madly gesticulating. Just
No. I was
boy.
just gonna say that if your weekly budget for entertainment and enjoyment is relying solely on the crux of the fluctuating market, you have bigger problems.
Indeed. Overcooked is a good one.
Yeah.
The teamwork there. This could potentially destroy your relationship, though. So maybe it's not the right choice.
Just fixing to say, Overcooked is a make or break. Yeah.
You find out who your partner really is in the heat of an Overcooked level. I think.
You know what I will say that I did learn some things about my partner in playing Overcooked. Good things.
Did you wash your hands?
Brought some new insight into how things work IRL between us. So
lovely.
But it is a good game. And when you get that 3-star, you just feel so good. After you had done the level 30 times and you're ready to kill someone and you get it, it's just awesome. Yeah.
So rewarding.
I feel like another good Turing test for partnership is Portal.
Yes, the Portal co-op.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Remember when we played Portal? That was a long time ago.
Bridge Farm remembers.
Bridge Farm. Oh my gosh. What else do you have up your sleeve, Shalene?
I think that mindless shooters are a really great choice for co-op with a partner. Because there's action, there's zaniness, there's stuff going on, but it's not so consuming that you can't talk. It's still the kind of thing that you can talk. So I think something like Halo or Gears or something would be a fun thing to play with a partner.
Yeah.
Another one that I think would be really great is story-based games, kind of like the series that we do, Vendertron.
Oh yeah.
And you can sit on the couch together and play a story-based game and make those choices together. Talk out what choices you want to make, get invested in these characters' lives. Stuff like Life is Strange, Detroit Become Human, Telltale Games, that kind of stuff. I think that would be a wonderful option.
And I mean, the good thing that comes out of that too is that you don't just play it and then that's the end of it. You talk about it afterwards. And you're like constantly thinking about like what would have happened had you chosen the other option. So yeah,
I think those are a great option. Mario Kart is a good one. You can't ever go wrong with Mario Kart. It's just it's the best.
Mario Kart is just so good. My partner and I played it on the Switch for the first time, and Rainbow Road is a lot shorter than it used to be. Let me tell you. Do you guys remember Rainbow Road on N64? It was like a 10-minute lap.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was 30
Highway
minutes.
to hell.
It was 30 minutes by the time you were done that one. Those were the days.
Minecraft is another great one because it's such a sandbox. You know, you can really decide what you want to do. You can build, you can do whatever you want. And I think that's another situation in which you kind of find out who you're playing with, you know, who somebody really is.
Can I add one here?
Go ahead.
Open world games in general in which you can play together online. You know, Rick, I know that you and your wife often play. Help me out here. Destiny 2, and what's the other one with the lizards and the dragons?
ESO?
And the... No.
Guild Wars?
Guild Wars.
Guild Wars. Yes.
Relationship building in Guild Wars.
Yes.
I'd also like to add Ark onto that list because they have a Valentine's event.
Oh.
And there's all these beautiful pink and purple and red dinos everywhere.
I cannot wait for the screenshots of the Valentine
they're
dinos.
gonna be
Oh yeah.
many.
And you can make like heart printed underwear, and there's like breeding is like ramped up during that time naturally. Between the dinos, of course.
Do you have to buy the dinos like wine and chocolate first, or
you know, this actually, we're taking a little bit of a plunge back into history. When we first started playing Ark together, remember, Rick? We had red sex lights.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
We had a breeding area, and we had put up some red lights, and some Chinese lanterns that were like pink and red, and it was very, the ambiance was.
The feng shui was palpable.
what were the dinos named Roxanne?
Baby. Yeah.
Oh my
Better
goodness.
put on that red light.
Yeah.
I did want to real quick. I did want to interject with Minecraft. Finding out who your significant others are. I think it was my daughter that told on my wife. I think that's how that worked. I think my daughter told on my wife where Sarah was playing Minecraft, and apparently she was doing building in a village or something, but a villager had fallen down into a single block of water, like bloop, you know, and he's kind of bobbing around. And Sarah kind of like looked at him, thought about it for a second, and then just took a dirt block and went and buried him. And I found this out from my daughter. I'm like, what? She buried someone alive? Ooh, okay. And then that was didn't expect that one from my wife.
Yeah.
I mean,
would
maybe I
you know
expected
what?
to leave that person to the fate, but I didn't expect her to just go like bury.
Block them in. That's funny. I had a couple of other suggestions. Just I wanted to make a note. Like, don't always hog being player one. You know, let your significant other be player one sometimes. Even if they're the less experienced player, that's fine. Let them have a chance. Let your significant other take the lead sometimes, or you know, pass the controller back and forth. Don't forget that everybody likes to be involved in things. And are you maybe somebody like me who's forever alone and has no significant other? My suggestion is to play a dating sim like Mystic Messenger on mobile, or a nice BioWare RPG like Dragon Age or Mass Effect, and get yourself a fake boyfriend or girlfriend.
Hello? Hello?
That's what it sounds like in my heart.
Oh no! Ow.
Oh boy. Wow.
What do you guys have? Do you guys have any other thoughts about things you can do gaming wise with your significant others?
I mean, to pop out of the realm of video games specifically, my partner and I play Phase 10 a lot together, as well as Scrabble. And what else do we play together? Pandemic. So I mean, lots of board games, card games are a nice
When
way to unplug from the world, actually. Everybody just puts their phone aside, makes some tea, some snacks, hang out together. It's nice.
when me and my wife first started dating, our relationship was really pretty much built on Halo 2 specifically, and Rainbow Six, Vegas, Gears of War. Those are like the games we played a lot together. I mean, we would just sit for hours and play split screen, um, and you know that was a big part of our us getting closer. And even now, like we don't play as many games together as we used to, but Guild Wars and Destiny 2 are still games that we do like to play together every once in a while. But kind of going in the realm of video games and going into games in general, have you two ever heard of a game called Egyptian Rat Screw?
No.
Ah, okay. So it's a very fast-paced game, and you have like half the deck, and I think the other person has half the deck, and you're flipping cards like flip, 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 and then where there's like a jack or something, you smack it. It's not slapjack; it's different. I forget how it goes, but there's other rules. Um, but we dubbed it. We played it so much, me and Sarah. We dubbed the game Sarah Wins is what it's now called, and because she always wins, so she decided to teach some of her friends at her workplace the game, and they've also called it Sarah Wins. She has an uncanny ability to just win that game. It's not war. It's called Egyptian Rat Screw. You have to look it up. Says someone in the chat. So after that, we played a lot. We also played a lot of Magic the Gathering. We did like the kitchen table version, not anything standard or anything like that, but we played a lot of Magic the Gathering, and we still do drafts every once in a while.
I
That's
just
lovely.
texted my partner. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm playing tennis on Switch."
Oh,
Aww.
I thought you meant like he was like outside somewhere in like a polo,
No, God, no.
tied
It's
off
too cold
sweatshirt,
here.
like tennis.
Too cold here for tennis. Maybe indoor, but indoor courts are garbage. But anyways, yeah, he's playing tennis on his Switch.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I
thank
think
you.
that no, I just wanted to add. Sorry, I think that video games that you can play with your significant other or a close friend, um, are like they're relationship building
Absolutely.
because you have to work together a lot of the time. Um, and I do like games like Minecraft where you don't always have to work together. You just have to coexist together in the same universe,
Mm-hmm.
virtually. And it's nice to have somebody else there while you're playing. Um, I often get that feeling when I play Ark with you guys. And
Nice.
you know, Rick's over on the other side of the map, but he's on the map, and I know that he's there, and it's kind of cool, because we're
Yeah.
talking about the things that we're doing, and then we're talking about real life and other stuff, and it's so yeah.
Real quick side note, I was curious if like Egyptian Rescue was slang for a name, like not the right name, but apparently the game is also known by Egyptian Rat Slap, Egyptian Rat Race, Egyptian Rat Killer, Egyptian War, Middle Eastern Llama Dash, or Middle Eastern Camel Dash.
I would like to call it Middle Eastern Llama Dash from now
I
on.
know, and it's similar to the British card game Beggar My Neighbor.
Ah, that old chestnut.
Oh man.
Sorry, I just had to look that up real quick because I just was like really curious. Like, did I like call it something bad? Is it not that? I just, um,
We need,
apparently
you know
that's
what
for
we
sure.
need to do? We need to find a video game that is a tabletop board game, and all play it together.
That would
Like a
be
board,
really fun.
like a board game that we all like. We'll get it. It'll probably be like $2 on Steam
Let's
anyways.
do
I
it.
love Monopoly.
And just
That actually
play it.
sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
would be
let's do
lots
that
of
right
fun.
now, guys, in the show. We're
Okay,
going to play a
bye.
game.
See you later.
We kid. Thank you guys for sharing your ideas of games to play with your significant other. And if you at home have anything that you would like to suggest, feel free to send that in to us, and we can talk about that on future episodes. But for now, let's talk about what we've been playing. Rick, what games you been playing?
Skyrim.
Skyrim?
Skyrim. I finally broke down and got the special edition, and it looks a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Looks a lot better.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
And I was like going back and playing the original one. I'm like, why does this just feel weird? It doesn't look as good as like what I'm seeing on Twitter. It's not even on Steam anymore. What gives? And then I saw that there's a special edition out apparently that I had forgotten about. I forgot about it. And so anyway, I started playing it again. And I've always wanted to make this character. I've made it a few times, but I made this character where it's a mage. And their speciality is delving Dwemer ruins and being a Dwemer specialist. So I collect books that are specifically Dwemer oriented and diving in Dwemer ruins to collect artifacts and learn more secrets about the Dwemer. And I haven't really delved yet because I've been building a house because I want to have my library and alchemy lab and everything like that set up to be like a full explorer not architect, archaeologist kind of thing. And so that's what I'm doing now. I leveled up a good bit. I have my house. I'm building that, and I'm getting better at magics because Dwemer ruins are difficult to be in, and so that's a lot of fun. I like doing that sort of thing. I've been on like a real treasure hunty kick lately, listening to like different podcasts about it, and just I don't know. So that probably has something to do with it. So I've been playing Skyrim, playing Sea of Thieves.
Ooh.
And with Shalene and Archon. And the other day I was playing by myself and I had the weirdest thing happen. I had never had this happen before. I was sailing by myself because I wanted to go to, I had finally gotten my, I forget what the commendation's called, but it's the Legends commendation. You when you do all 62 achievements, you can unlock different tattoos at this particular vendor.
Chronicler of Legend.
Chronicler of the Legends, and I got that. So I sailed my little sloop. No, was it a brig? I was on a brig by myself, and I sailed that over to the Mystery Lagoon or whatever it was, where this Umbra is. And I went up to Umbra and I bought the Chronicler of Legends tat and all the other tattoos, and I was excited. And I looked off in the distance, and right over across the way happened to be a Reaper chest. Now, vendor, if you don't know do you know what a Reaper chest is?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was looking at that.
Maybe you should explain what a Reaper chest is for our listeners at home who don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's good. And also I forgot, so just explain it again.
Okay, all right. So a Reaper chest, they show up by sending up a little swirly signal into the air saying, hey, chest's here. And if you go get it, then there's a blip on the map with you that other players can see on the map that says, hey, this player just picked up a Reaper chest. You might want to go reap what they sowed. And so I was by myself. And so I looked over there and I was like, it's the gold, like extra gold Reaper chest event. It's not too far away. And then I looked over to that was on my right. I looked over to my left and I'm like, well, there's Reaper's Island. I can just go get the chest and then sail right over to Reaper's Island and cash it in. And then I looked a little farther right and I'm like, well, that's a galleon. And it's not coming towards me, but I see it off in the distance there. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. So
it's like the two soccer moms in the supermarket that are racing for the same ham, the last ham that's left.
Yes, pretty much. So I sailed my brig and I pointed it towards Reaper Island, but next to the shipwreck because it happened to be in a shipwreck. And I dove down, and as I was swimming down, I saw the Reaper chest, and it was the gold top, and I'm like, oh, this is the big one. So I grab it, and I was losing air, so I let go, and I at this moment realized that Reaper chests don't float. No, they at least this one didn't. It did not go to the top. Because usually the trick is when you're drowning in the ship, you let go of the treasure and let it float up while you swim faster to the surface so you don't drown.
Mm-hmm.
So I I grab the chest and I swim up and I put it on the boat and I drop the sails because I didn't anchor, and I dropped the sails and I positioned them, and it was perfect. The waves were angled, so I wasn't going up and over them. I was going alongside of the waves, and I was like, the sails were angled just slightly to port, and they were full fluff. And I was scooting. I was scooting along in this brig. And the brig is the fastest ship in the game, so I'm going at a good clip. And I look over to the right, and there's the galleon now pointed towards me. And I went, this is going to be interesting. So it's a race to see who can get to Reaper's Island first. And I'm watching the galleon, and they're closing in, and I'm closing in, and they're closing in, and I'm closing in. So I grab the chest, and I drop it right at the bow, because I'm just going to like Jack Sparrow this thing onto the island. And I'm still going. I adjust the sails once more because I'm on my final approach to this island, and I'm going to hit it hard. And I look over, and a ghost ship, like a skeleton ship, has popped up out of the water.
Oh no!
Right in front of the galleon, and
Oh no!
smacked the galleon off to the left. So it is no longer coming to the island anymore. So it is now engaged, and they are probably mad. And I'm like, yes! And I grab the chest, and I get on the little stem part of the bow. I don't know what that's called, but I get on the pointy bit of the ship, and this ship just goes boom. And as it hits the island, it hits so hard it hurt me. Like my character took damage.
Really?
Yeah. So I jumped off. I took damage from like getting hit. And then I run up and sell the chest, and I get 25,000 gold. And I was like,
whoa, we got to find one of those.
And so the person you sell the chest to is in the center of the island. Okay. The center of the island. And I turn around, and the ship is right there in front of me. And I was like, oh, okay.
So you ran it all the way aground.
I ran it completely aground, and it was not moving back to the ocean, and it just kept making like noises, and it just sit there.
How fast were you going?
I was going the fastest possible in the game with the brig. I mean, because like I said, it was
get out of the way. Get out of the way.
Yes, I was not gonna lose this stupid.
I don't
chest
have brakes.
To this dumb galleon. And so I was just kind of chilling on the boat. Like, I guess this is my home now. You know, I just was like, let's see how long this goes. So I was on there for like a good 5 or 10 minutes or something. And then I hopped off and started exploring. And then I turned around, and ship was gone. So the ship sat there long enough that the game despawned it.
That's
all my loot was sitting on the ground.
Ah.
I didn't have much, but it was funny. I'd never seen a full
it couldn't even work its way back to the ocean.
Yeah, no, because like I had realized what had happened was there was a rock line that the stern of the ship got stuck in like a U-shaped rock, so it couldn't even go back out to sea because it was blocked. And it was I must have hit that, because you know if you go across the wave, it slows you down going over it and then speeds you up going down it. And the fastest the brig will go is if the sails are shifted slightly, not completely head on, but shifted. And so I was going along with the waves. I wasn't going over them. So I was going
so you had real good momentum
conditions for speed. Yeah. And I just nailed it. So that was super fun. That little chestnut. And actually, I'm trying to think. At the beginning of that, I decided to go fishing. Right. And it was like old man in the sea kind of. I sailed down to the southern edge of the map on my little sloop, and I parked it. I kept the anchor up in case I needed to vacate. I just put the sails up, and I just took my fishing rod out, and and just fishing. And all of a sudden I hear this, and the water gets black, and tentacles go.
Oh man!
Like, really? Like, I didn't want to catch this big of a fish, and so it grabs the back of my boat. I'm slashing at it a little bit. I run down and patch a hole. I walk up, shoot a cannonball, walk down, patch a hole, walk up, shoot a cannonball, slash at the tentacle a little bit, like trying to survive, knowing I'm just going to die. And eventually it lets go, and I sail out. And then as soon as I see my ship clear the black water, I put the sail up and start fishing again, like right in front of the Kraken, like fine. And I caught some good stuff. It was nice. So I was playing that for a little bit. I picked up a bunch of games on sale. Resident Evil. So I picked up some of those games.
That hurts. That hurts my throat when you say that.
Do you need a lozenge?
No, I'm
So-
fine. It's all
You
good.
got a frog in your throat?
That was impressive.
Okay, now let me try. Resident Evil 7. Okay, now Shalene, you go.
Oh no, mine's gonna be bad. You ready? Resident Evil 7.
It's just a smoker.
Remember that time? Remember the time when we did an E3 show?
my microphone was set wrong.
Hey everybody, I'm Shalene.
Oh gosh, that was.
She went all Barry White on us.
She sounded like she smoked 6 packs of cigarettes before she called us.
It was like a complete audio mismatch, and she was talking like this.
And you guys were like, "Wait, is this your real voice?"
Yeah.
We were a little thwarted. We were like,
And you didn't hear it at first, but then when you heard it, you were
What's
totally
wrong?
mortified, right?
I was.
Oh man, that was good.
she had not man hands, but man voice.
Yeah. Shalene with her man. I don't work with the boys because I used to be one.
So yeah, I picked up some Resident Evil games, and I have now Resident Evil 2, the remake of Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil 7. I skipped 5 and 6 because they are garbage, and I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 3 Nemesis remake. However, I booted up Resident Evil 4, and it's clunky, but it's playable on PC, so we're going to be tackling that soon.
Okay.
It's definitely not horror per se. It's more action packed, but it's very, very good. Resident Evil 1, you cannot use a mouse for it. It's like the classic fixed camera.
Really?
No. Yeah, and it's like keyboard. So they're like, "Hey, turn around."
Awesome.
With a visual gag of like trying to slowly
Awesome.
turn. So, there's a monster behind me. 3 hours later, you've done a 180. However, since the remake, they might have put the hotkey quick turn. But anyway, but for Survival Horror Sundays, which we've started again,
Yay!
we've been streaming Resident Evil 7, and
Mhm.
I hadn't played it before. I have a genuine fear of hillbilly psychopaths. A genuine fear. I cannot watch Hills Have Eyes or House of a Thousand. I can't watch movies like that because of like torture hillbilly psychopaths.
There
I
goes
just
all of our
can't.
hillbilly psychopath listeners.
Thank God. But I can't like I can't deal with it. I have
Ugh.
such a hard time. Most things don't freak me out, but torture hillbilly stuff, I can't handle it. And
This'll be the last time you walk into my shed.
dude, I like
I'm gonna teach you a lesson.
so Resident Evil 7's entire beginning is just hillbilly torture.
Oh, don't make me get out my prying bar.
It's like it was rough for me.
It's a lot.
hard it's tense. It's you've got no guns. I couldn't just start blasting. So I had to start outlasting them. But we started playing. It was, we got pretty far. We did pretty good. It's definitely it is a graphic game. I forgot how graphic.
It's very brutal.
It's very brutal. It's a very brutal game. I did not realize.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean the shovel head thing. Shunk.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was a lot. That
Yeah.
was a lot.
And then if you fail, you get to watch it again, and you're like, dude. And so Vendor. So at one point, I'm being chased by this big dude. Like, where are you going, shitty boy, kind of guy. And he wasn't gonna oink me. He was gonna like.
Hello,
stab me.
Candy Cane.
So he's chasing me with a shovel. All right, which is just utterly terrible. Like chainsaw, cool. Sickle, yeah, I got it. Axe, good trope. Shovel, terrifying. So. Because that's not even a weapon. That's just a blunt object you're gonna die with, or die by. So he whacks me in the face, and I go down. And then your camera's looking down, and he just goes, wham, wham, and chops off your leg.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
And then you pick it up,
Ah.
and he
Holding
sits
the leg.
down. He sits down and puts a first aid kit in front of you, because then you have the option to crawl over to the first aid kit and reattach your leg or bleed out. It's your choice. And you're just like, And I freaked. I'm like, and I bled out. I just didn't know what to do. Like, what kind of game
I don't
is
know.
this?
I don't know why you play these games.
I didn't know that was a possibility. And then we're like fighting him in a garage, and there's a car, and I tried to get in the car to start it, so he pulls me out, and he gets in it and starts doing donuts in the garage and just kills me. It's just like, what is this game? Yeah, it's like horrifying. Everything that you had.
When did Resident Evil 7 release?
2017, and it still looks really good.
3 years old.
And so here's the other, but here's the thing that frustrates me. And I get that you have to balance a game as far as like what you can't do to kind of keep it difficult. You're being chased by this dude who is going to kill you, and you're like, I'm just gonna jog away. I'm just going to jog away. That's my sprint speed. And you're like, dude, book it, run, jump over a table. I can't jump. Why can't you jump? I don't know. And it's just, that's how the game is, and that part is very frustrating. But I get it. If you could jump and sprint and like roll dodge like any human would when they're going to be killed, it would be less of a scary game.
I don't know. I don't think I could roll dodge if somebody was chasing me with a shovel.
You'd be surprised what you could do when your adrenaline's kicked in.
I don't know if I could be jumping over tables either.
So it's a very fun game, and it is very terrifying. And if you are interested to see how well we do, join us this Sunday for more survival horror. But stay tuned for when that time is. But anyway, that's what I've been playing. Vendor, what about you?
Well, first of all, I'm sorry that I missed it on Sunday. Carlo and I were out buying a new vehicle.
Yay!
No excuse. What'd you get?
Carlo, he bought a Nissan Rogue.
Lovely.
Yeah, so we were out car shopping, which was scary and enjoyable all at the same time. He found out that he was the victim of credit card fraud.
Oh, no.
We're getting that sorted, sucks. But it's okay. It's not as bad as it actually would have been. But so yeah, I'm sorry I missed your stream. I just can't play those games. I'm like a little kid when it comes to stuff like that because I get really bad dreams.
Yeah. Oh, I had some dreams because of it.
And like
I turned on every light in the house after that stream was over. I was sitting like, here with a blanket over my head, like wrapped all around me.
The dream I had the night after that, real quick, I had a dream that, so I close my bedroom door at night, and I keep the bathroom light on so that way Evie can see so she doesn't fall down the stairs at night. And I had a dream that my wife was sleeping next to me, and Evie wakes me up, and the door was shut, and there was like light coming from underneath the door, and Evie was like on top of me. She goes, "Daddy, there's a man in the hallway, and I don't know who he is." And that's what she got. And I remember like sitting there going, "Okay, how am I going to diffuse this situation?" And then I woke up, and I looked over, and there's light coming through the bottom of the door, but Evie's not in the room. So I was like, "This is."
Everything's fine.
What would you do? What would you do, Rick? What would you do?
Well, see, my house is one floor off the street, so our windows are perfect egress because there's an awning. I have escape plans mapped out. Plus, there's a tree right next to the other door, so if the front is shut off from access, the window, we can open up the window and jump to the tree next to us. So that's always an option as well. So we have 2 escape routes from our door. Plus, our bed's right next to the door, so I could just scoot it over to the door and keep it blocked. I've come up with escape routes in my head because it's what I do. And I have a knife.
Yeah, I have a big ass pocket knife. Actually, it's not even. That's not a knife. That's a knife. It's one of those ones.
Plus, I'll be like, "Hey, you Betty, get the funk out," and then I'll spray them with it.
What is that? Compressed air?
No, it's literally called PV Funk Out. It's Deoxit that PV put its own label on, but it's called PV Funk Out. Get to funk out of your electronics.
Oh, wow. We're not sponsored by PV, just for the record.
Thank goodness.
Guys, I've been playing a ton of games. Okay, so first of all, you guys know how I'm like, I built this awesome PC like 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
Which is now pretty much becoming obsolete. Sad to say it, but it's happening. Still runs all of my favorite games and some of the newer ones, so it's all good. But I never bought monitors for my PC. I had got these old monitors from work. They were old Lenovo ThinkVision monitors from like 2006. Like these really ancient
Like
monitors.
CRT monitors.
Oh, absolutely awful. I had to use I basically had to like daisy chain to an HDMI to be able to get it to plug into my computer, and it was just this mess. Well, I broke down and I finally bought a new monitor. But I didn't just buy a new monitor. I bought the monitor.
Oh, really?
Yes. Let me okay, so I'm going to send you guys a picture of it.
I'm
Oh,
really
good. I'm
excited
glad the
about
audience
this.
can be a participant of this as well.
Oh, no, it's
Um,
fine. We'll describe it.
great
It's
audio.
gonna be great. Okay,
So-
so let's click over here. It is... it is
Oh my
glorious!
gosh. That's
It takes my breath away!
It's a beast, right?
that's a thing.
So-
Modi's vendor.
So for our listeners, I have had my eye on a curved monitor for probably 8 months. And they're quite pricey. So I've been saving up. And I was actually originally going to buy 2 monitors, but it would have been like astronomically expensive. And so I opted for one single curved 49-inch monitor.
Yeah, you did.
Boy,
It's
did you.
freaking massive. It's like massive, you guys. It's massive. It's 2 27-inch monitors, basically. And it's the Samsung CHG90. So it's not 4K, but it does support HDMI or DisplayPort, and it has a bunch of connectors and things like that. But wow, this monitor, I could not recommend the Samsung curved monitors any more than I like. It's absolutely amazing. This monitor is amazing. I'm totally
entranced.
happy with this purchase. Yeah. It's quite something. So now that I've prefaced my gameplay with this, the sucker weighs a goddamn ton. It's 26 pounds.
Wow.
So, but I wall mounted it because the stand for it is so big, it takes up my entire desk, and it wouldn't fit otherwise. So naturally, I've been jumping back to a bunch of old games. My partner got me a large solid state drive for Christmas, so I've been able to reinstall a lot of my games. But I think what happened is somewhere along the way, Outer Worlds broke in transferring the files. So I have to reinstall Outer Worlds and probably start from the beginning, which makes me a little bit sad. But maybe it's a good thing, you know? New monitor, new game. It's like
Fresh start.
playing
New
it's like
beginning.
playing a whole new game. So I've been playing ETS on this freaking monstrosity, and holy crap, what a difference in the driving. Like it's like you're actually in the cab. It's crazy. The only next thing is VR, and I didn't want that because it's just so specific. Yeah, ETS is awesome. Pro Mods is up and running again, which means I am now driving my way through Iceland once again, which is beautiful. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that. I've been playing a lot of Astroneer with Jess. She went on some vacation, so I was playing some Astroneer by myself. Man, this game has come a long way since it first launched. I think I kind of talked about that in the last episode of Gamestack, but yeah, so Astroneer is just so good. It's so good. And I played it by myself this time while Jess was away. And I got to say that it's actually still pretty good when you play it by yourself. Like, it's not that bad. It definitely is more fun when you play with people, but I had a lot of fun just kind of derping around by myself.
Lovely.
What else? I've hopped into Ark. I've been playing some Ark per usual. Cyber Red Panda is now on the server, which is nice. So she's been getting her place set up. Taz has been slowly building his beach house. It's currently expanding after the Allosaurus incident.
Tell me about the Allosaurus incident.
So I go on. So we have a separate Discord for the ARC server as to not cause too much congestion within the WJLG Discord. And so Taz goes into the main chat in the ARC Discord, and he says, "Well, it's like I just woke up and half the whole front of my house is missing."
Oh no! What happened to his house?
Well, some Allosauruses came down to the beach and they ate his house. So they ate his front porch. They ate his front door and his windows, and half of his house was gone.
Rude.
And and he's just saying in the chat, also a rock drake also ate his house.
Everything that could go wrong did.
Yeah. Shalene, do you remember when you played with us for that brief moment and we were on that beach place by that waterfall? So Taz is just a little bit down the beach from there.
That was a nice place. I like that.
And it's
beach.
just, well, the trouble with it is that there's a cliff. It backs onto a cliff. And those Allosauruses, they come and they fall off that cliff, and then they can't get back up. So then they start wandering around the beach, and then bam, your front porch is gone.
Didn't you put the spikes up there when we were there?
Originally we had spikes, yes. But I have not put spikes. I recommended that Taz put some spikes up. I might have some extra spikes I could drop by and leave those, but yeah. I've also been building this modern new like Art Deco style house on my island. It has complete with balconies and infinity pool.
Oh.
Yes, I will take pictures.
Sounds delightful.
I'll share them on the next episode, maybe. But I gotta say, Arc, it's like a totally different game on this monitor. I have to go in and change like the sensitivity of my mouse because I get like motion sickness when I turn too fast. And then there's Red Dead Redemption. I have gotten back into Red Dead Redemption, you guys. The game is so good. This game is amazing. I made it to chapter. Oh my god, it's so good. And Arthur Morgan, everything's a problem. Oh, where's my horse? Like it's just, ouch, that hurt. The game is amazing.
You guys really have sensitive throats, don't you?
Yeah.
We also have higher pitched voices than you do.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Red Dead has this way about it that makes it so immersive. There are elements of that game that things, you'll just be riding along a trail and you'll come across this random event, but then you'll never see it happen again. And it's just so random, and the world is so big, and you go to a different part and you're like, have I actually been here before? Have I seen this before? I don't think I have. And it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. Like mornings in Red Dead Redemption are like the best part of the game for me. I get up, I go and make a coffee at the campfire, and then I go sit by the cliffs and I look at the mountains. And the sun rises, and you hear the insects and the birds chirping, and like, Molly walks up and she's like, "Morning, Morgan," or "Morning, Arthur," and he's like, "Morning, Molly," and it's just he's just sipping his tea, and life is so good in that game. It's just so good. I love it. And the outfits. Oh my god, the outfits. There's so many hats.
Drinking and eating.
Oh yeah. So there was this one. I don't want to disclose too much. I'm gonna leave that part
Yeah, but
out.
like making the campfire coffee, like I loved that. Like,
oh yeah,
going out camping and making coffee. God, now I want to play the game again.
And like you, like when you go back to base camp, you can like sit around the fire and like talk with people and have conversations, or you can just sit and join them and just listen in on the conversation. Sometimes they break out in song, and everybody starts singing together. It's so weird. Like it's just so awesome. I love it. It's so good. So yeah, I've made it to chapter 3, and I'm really enjoying it. Sipping his coffee, Arjun. He's like sipping his tea. That doesn't sound very cowboy. Yeah, Red Dead is just, and the hunting is so good. Oh, it's just like you pack your horse and then you go up to the mountains for like 3 days and you set up a camp and you just like hunt, and it's like I tried fishing for the first time today in Red Dead Redemption. Have you tried fishing, Rick?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The fishing is really good.
It is
Like
really good.
you go out in the boat
Mm-hmm.
on the lake or on the river, and you fish in the boat, and it's just so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really quite something. Anyways, now that I'm done swooning over Red Dead, I will talk about Plague Tale Innocence. So Shalene, thank you for this game, Plague Tale Innocence. It is so good. This game is has surprised me. So when I first started playing it, I was a little bit put off because it just seemed to be like a stealth game. Basically, all you do is run around and do stealthy things. And uh, it turned out to not be that. Like it is mostly stealth, but I think that it really puts a strong emphasis and focus on the storyline,
Right.
which is just it's so good. Hugo and Amicia, Amicia, and the friends that they make along the way, I think really enrich the story. I have made it to chapter 15, and I have 2 chapters left. There's 17 chapters altogether in the series, and the plot has just gotten so intense. And you know what it reminds me of this late in the game? It reminds me of Council.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yes. And like you started playing it, how there's the French Inquisition
Mm-hmm.
and the whole corruption and political storyline there. Well, it gets thicker and it gets pretty intense. So I'm probably going to finish that tomorrow night or Sunday night. And Plague Tale Innocence will be complete.
Lovely.
I should have waited though. In hindsight, we should have done it as a like a game that we do together.
That would be
on
fun.
Stream.
Yeah. We have so many options though. We have a lot of options for games to do on stream.
Yeah. Like Life is Strange, which we just finished, which
Indeed.
was awesome. I'm not too sure how I would have liked the story to end. I think the way it did end, I'm pretty happy with.
Yeah,
So,
it was a lot. I feel like we couldn't have gotten a happier ending. I feel like we did as well as we could have.
it was the best outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that the crazy church lady kind of got written out.
Yeah.
Although I fear that she may come back into the fold if there's a Life is Strange 3
Yeah, with these characters. Do you think
with
there
these
will
characters. I don't know.
I
There's
would
a lot
like
of
to
cliffhangers.
see. I would like to see a game set when Daniel is older, and able to use his powers with an adult's judgment. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah. I think that would be really interesting. And we did get a little bit of a sneak peek at the end. Daniel was older. He was like probably 16. He had a car.
Right, living with his grandparents.
Living with his grandparents with the anklet, basically under house arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I liked about that clip though is that he was able to use his powers in the house, and his grandmother was accepting of it.
It was totally a normal thing. That was just part of who he is.
Yeah. And that was actually the reason why they had run from their grandparents in the first place, was because of Daniel's powers, right?
No, the cops showed up.
Right.
The cops showed
but
up.
his
That's
but
why they
the
ran.
grandma didn't know about it or something.
Okay, so the grandparents didn't know about the powers.
The grandpa
did. Okay, well, hear me out. So a big cabinet fell on the grandpa.
Right.
And Daniel used his powers to rescue the grandpa from the cabinet that fell on him. And while this was happening, the cops showed up and they had to run. So.
Yeah. So the grandma never did see it, but the grandpa knew what was up.
The grandma saw it. She was there. Yeah.
Oh, she was?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I missed that whole part.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, you know, it's been months. It's been months since we played that episode.
Yeah.
So.
The ending was the best possible outcome, though. So it was this, Rick. It was
Spoilers.
So-
Spoiler alert.
So I mean the game's been out for so basically Daniel and his big brother Sean met up with their mom, their estranged biological mom,
Karen.
Karen. And she turned out to be really cool, and we love her, first of all. But the cops figured out where they are, or they were looking for them in the general area. So Sean and Daniel had to leave. So they left and they were going for the border. And just when they got to the border, Daniel ended up getting shot.
Yes,
By-
by crazy
Sniped
border
by some
vigilantes.
crazy border people. Yeah.
Like white
and this
supremacist
was-
border vigilantes.
This was after he had broken through the border wall, but they didn't actually get over the border. So that happened. They ended up in jail. Then, of course, they ended up breaking out because how else would the story go? But by the end of it, there was a choice. So Daniel, Sean could either turn him and his brother in at the border gates, or Sean could. What were the other options?
Ram the
Make-
just
ram
run the
the-
blockade. Yeah.
The blockade or make Daniel use his
And
powers.
running the blockade did use Daniel's powers and would hurt people.
Yes.
So the option was to pacifistically surrender or to make a charge for the border.
Right. And those were the two options. But the option that Shalene and I chose was to make Daniel use his powers because we want them to get over the border and we want them to be together. Had they forfeited, Daniel would have went to prison because he's over 18.
Sean would have went to prison.
Sean would have went to prison, and Daniel would have been, I don't know, probably ended up at his grandparents or something. Who knows? So we decided to ram the blockade and Daniel to use his powers, which happened. But after that, Daniel jumped out of the car. And we were like, what? No, we weren't expecting that. And so Daniel jumped out of the car and, fell on the road where the police were. And Sean drove through past the border into Mexico, and he's living free in Mexico while Daniel is under house arrest with his grandparents.
Yes, and Sean was reunited with his hippie chick Cassidy. So
Right, hippie chick Cassidy.
Mhm.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
So it was good.
So, I mean, it wasn't.
Experience.
It was the ending that we wanted, I think. Overall, yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
Good.
I liked it. So
Anyway, Shalene, take it
was
away.
fun. Well, surprising absolutely no one, I've been playing Sea of Thieves. And also a little bit of Fallout 76. And of course, as always, Pocket Camp. But we don't have to talk about Pocket Camp because it's like the same thing every day.
Mobile games are games.
Rick, stop! Stop it with your negativity. Sea of Thieves is most of what I've been playing. I'm still obsessed with some piracy. And a couple of days ago, Archie and I played. We invited you, Rick, but you were busy. But we did one of those gilded quests, and it was a lot. It was a gold hoarders gilded quest, and it filled our entire wheel with X marks the spot maps, and it was all captain's chests. So we had about 25 captain's chests on the ship.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And we were getting a little nervous. So we drove them over to the Reaper's Island because there is a commendation to turn in 20 chests at the Reaper's Island. So we went there. We turned them in to the Reaper lady. And this lady, I have such a bad feeling about this lady. Like, she's going to turn out to be a Sith Lord, right? That's
go
the only
bad.
way this ends.
This
Right?
is gonna go bad.
Yes, she's terrifying, and she's standing over this lit from below this pit of red magma. And she's wearing the mask and the black, and she's very spooky. And it really seems like she is up to some shady business. And our greed in redeeming these captain's chests at twice the gold is financing her evil enterprises. You know, that's what's going on here. But we did it anyway. We traded in our captain's chests for double gold. And it was glorious. We made so much money that night. So much money. It was ludicrous. And
So, real quick, what you're saying is you and Archon sold yourselves at a place where it was just glowing red light? So like the red light district?
maybe,
And you just sold yourselves for a higher price?
maybe.
Sluts.
Wenches.
Somebody had to say it.
Wenches. Selling your booty to the highest bidder.
We did. We sold our booty at the red light district. Oh dear, but we did. We made so much money. It was ludicrous. We went and cleared out the rest of those maps. We had about another 25 captain's chests. And we decided to turn these in at a normal I'm sorry. Archon in chat says, not just a higher price, Rick, but double the price. It's an important distinction. But we sold the rest of those chests. It was quite a quest, and you really missed out. It was too bad. We also took on a skeleton fort, which was really, really fun. And we took on this skeleton fort. It was very hard, but we won. We beat the skeleton fort, and there was so much treasure in that vault. It took so long. We should do one. Maybe we'll do one today. It took so long to load the treasure onto the ship. It took forever. And we were so scared that we were going to get mugged on our way back to the outpost, but we didn't get mugged. We got back to the outpost. We sold our stuff. It was brilliant. It was delightful. And after we did this gilded quest that day, it was getting a little bit late. We were talking about turning in. I was like, yeah, it's pretty late. I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. I had managed to not fall asleep at the wheel, so that was nice. But I was ready to go to bed. And Archon said, well, okay, I'm going to take all these supply crates and I'm going to give them to this brig that we passed at this other island. You know, I'm just going to sail them over there. And I said, well, I'll stay with you while you sail for that. That sounds fun. So we sail over to these people and the brig starts moving and we're trying to talk to them and we're using like the speaking trumpet and we're like, hello, we'd like to give you these supplies. We're logging off. We have a lot of stuff. And they're understandably suspicious, right? These people are understandably suspicious. And we're like, really? We're logging off? We just want to get rid of all these cannonballs. And we're cruising up and they throw a fireball at us.
Oh no.
And their ship is close enough to our ship that I hear somebody say, you set them on fire? Now they're gonna hate us!
They must have been Canadian.
And they go around this rock and we're deciding like, well, I guess they don't want this stuff. We're gonna go and leave it back at the outpost or somewhere, you know, just maybe somebody will find it. And they cruise back around and we're like, well, maybe they're coming back. And
so they must have had like proximity chat on.
Yes.
Then. Okay.
Yes. Okay. They come back and they park and they're standing 3 in a row on this deck, right? And the lady says, we've discussed it and he would like to apologize. And the other guy's like, I'm sorry, I set your ship on fire.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if they were Canadian.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And Archon's like, no, it's no big deal. It's cool. And we start carrying over the supply crates that we had for them. And I think we had some ammo crates as well. And we're just carrying them over onto their ship. And we all play music together and we drink some grog and we had a lovely time, and we were chatting with them, and I had decorated the ship that day, so it was a glorious purple monstrosity with a unicorn figure. And they went to visit our ship, and the lady was saying stuff like, "Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff! They've got a unicorn. This is amazing."
I feel like okay, so would people attack you if you use the unicorn more often?
I don't know.
And like
I don't
the
know
frilly
if that makes
colors.
us more or less of a target. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Like, does it look more friendly?
Or maybe it looks weak. Maybe they assume, oh, they've got the unicorn. You know, they're not going to be much to contend with.
Perhaps.
I don't know. But we looked fabulous.
Shalene, you give me an idea that we're going to have to do that next time. And I'm going to hide below our ship in the deck with a stronghold keg. And then you'll be celebrating on their ship and be like, yeah, it's fun. And I'm going to sneak off our boat, swim underwater, and get on their ladder. And you guys be like, see ya, goodbye. And then you'll sail off, and I'll just be waiting on the side of their ship. And
Rude, Rick. Rude.
And then we come back and get all the booty.
See, I like the tactic of you guys getting up nice and close and I just jumping on their other ship and killing everyone.
You did a good job with that last time.
Because you know that I'm capable of that, so.
Yes.
I am tired of being set upon by pirates. Vendor, every time I've played with Shalene and Archon, the last like 3 or 4 times, we've either been sunk, chased, or boarded.
I'm so tired of being
sometimes all at once.
We've lost every engagement. And it's just I'm
See, the trick is you gotta have those splody barrels. And then you go on their ship and you go underneath the deck with the splody barrel. And they can't do anything because if they shoot you,
it didn't matter. That because they had stronghold explodey barrels.
Oh.
And one guy came up the side of our boat and I whacked him with a sword and went, uh-oh, and watched it explode in my face.
I did manage to get the ship patched up from that.
You did. But I mean, it was over at that point.
It really was.
I don't mind losing. I just want it to be a good death. Not like a lame death.
Ignominious.
I want to be able to sail and run into people who are like, I'm sorry I set your ship on fire.
Well, that was a really fun experience. I enjoyed that, and I'm glad that I stayed up for it.
So it wasn't, what's it, Crunchy Taco?
No, it was not Crunchy Taco. It was Pirate Pony, I think, and a couple of other people.
No wonder they were so nice. Yeah. You had a pony on the front of your ship.
Oh dear. But it was a good time. And we did that stargazing tall tale. I forget the name of it. We did that once, and then it went pretty well. It's really cool tall tale because it gives you this magical what's it called? A telescope?
Yeah, like a telescope thing.
Yeah, it gives you a magical telescope that you can use to look at constellations, which I find really fun. And I just looked at the constellations, and these poor guys were on their own trying to solve the riddles while I'm over there like, oh, look, this one looks like a crab. Yeah, it was a disaster. But last night we tried to do this one, and we got ganked by these people that Rick was talking about with Stronghold Keg. It ended really badly, right? Like, it went poorly. We were disheartened. Our enthusiasm was gone.
It's very angry.
Yeah. There was a bit of anger. And it was late. It's later where Rick lives than where Archon and I live. So Rick went to bed. He signed off. And Archon and I went and dived into Fallout 76 for a little change of pace. And I still have the private world. So we jumped into a private world. It was a lot of fun. Did some Atom Shop browsing. They've added a bunch of new Nuka-Cola stuff, which is very cool. And we went and did Camden Park. We ran all those Camden Park daily quests, which was quite enjoyable. We did the one where you herd cows, which is always fun. But it was just really nice to have that private world experience and just do these events and not worry about what anyone else was or wasn't doing. And All the loot was still there. Whenever we got to a place, there was still loot. That was nice. So that was an enjoyable experience, an enjoyable few hours playing Fallout 76. I am looking forward to checking out a game called The Seventh Sector on Switch, which is a cyberpunk style puzzle game. So I'm very interested in seeing what this has. It looks like it's going to be a very Shalene game.
Seventh Sector.
Yeah, it's been out on PC for a while, but it recently released on Switch. They did send me review code, so I'm looking forward to checking out Seventh Sector. Also,
is it story based?
It's a puzzle game. It's a puzzle game.
Oh,
So, there will be some kind of story, I believe, but it's primarily puzzle oriented.
Oh,
So.
Speaking of puzzles, sorry, just a side note. I played a new game called The Gardens Between Us.
Oh, tell me about that. I've heard
Gardens
good things.
Between Us. It's a puzzle game. That's why it jogged my memory. It's amazing. The game is amazing. It's like Monument Valley, but like on steroids. So really good. I recommend it, and it's cheap.
Lovely.
So,
I think that's on Game Pass. If you're a Game Pass subscriber.
yes, I definitely recommend that you play it. I think you would like it, Shalene. It's very endearing.
Yeah, Jess from Dames, I believe, talked about that at one point. So she recommended it as well.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention that I watched the Witcher series, and it was darn good, man.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was so impressed. I was so impressed. It was really, really good. I adored the books. I adored them. And the show was very excellent.
So I just had an idea. I think we should have Dames on Gamestack and call it Damestack.
A crossover episode called Gamestack? I think the Dames would go for this. I think we should make this happen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there are 6 dames, so it would be an 8-person panel. It would be pandemonium.
It's totally fine. It would be chaos. It would be so much fun.
I'm going to talk to the dames. Let's make this happen. Dame Stack. It's going to be great.
Okay. Anyways,
Can I
back to
be
our
Judi
regular
Dench?
scheduled program.
Hey, Rick. Do you want to read our listener email?
I do. So, hello, Shalene, Rick, and Vendor. First things first, Happy New Year. Hope you had a relaxing end of the year. Just been listening to the previous other show. Cracked me up when you guys mentioned you uninstalled Fallout 76. Mentioning the hacking story, which I didn't hear about outside the show. It really did surprise me, and I agree with Wick. With Wick. I'd really
agree.
like to know
I
why
agree with
people are
Wick.
doing this.
You
I'd really like
you
to
got to
know.
do the rest. You got to do the rest.
No. I've done bits like that. Never works. So I agree with Rick. I'd really like to know why people are doing this. As a kid, I used some cheats in games too, and it usually put me off that game within the next hour as I completely lost motivation due to the lack of challenge. Limited ammo, invulnerability in FPSs, resources in Age of Empires, etc., etc. So I'm guessing those snipers you mentioned are between 8 and 14. If they're more, they would just be a waste of fresh air. Also, fair to say I had a few unofficial copies of games as they were way too expensive for me. To put in context, as current days, Fallout game costs around 50 something.
Pounds, dollars, euros. You pick imaginary currency.
Prices of the games are all the same in all countries as digitals and subscriptions now. However, what economy really means is that you can buy 40 copies of Fallout 76 or Fallout or just 6, which really limit your ability to play whenever you want. So the subscription-based games such as Fallout First really filters the players by their country's economy too. Just never forget to be happy about what you have. New Year's message. Maybe I'm on my way to redemption, having 500 games now on Steam. I put the question up on Discord, but I'll try here as well. Can we get a Gamestack group on different platforms to make it easier to find each other who want to be found? On Steam, I have a few gift games that would be great to give away in group or offer in the show. Also, it would be an idea to have a channel which is dedicated to email questions so the whole community could respond. Thanks for the show.
Yeah.
Never change.
That is a good idea.
P.S.
And P.S.
I did not buy the Switch yet. I might be having some life changes this year as halfway through the year. I'll be joining the club of parents, so I won't need to refocus my finances. Okay. Well, cool.
Yeah.
It's
So
like a suggestion box.
So yeah, those are some great suggestions. I think that, we are looking into sort of reshaping the way that the Discord, the stack specifically, is structured. Jess had brought up a good point to us earlier that in some Discords, people go immediately into the foyer, but they also subscribe to all of the other channels in the Discord. But there's a way to set it so that you can actually subscribe to see only certain channels when you first come in. So we're looking into maybe setting it up that way. It would also be nice to kind of segment it out by console or PC. I think that would be a kind of a neat idea. And then you could just collapse based on what consoles you have.
Yeah.
That is a good suggestion.
Send us your feedback.
Yeah.
Let us know if you like these ideas or if you have any other ideas for improving the Discord experience.
Yeah, because it is a bit of a mess. We've got a bit of a mishmash of different things.
It wouldn't be us if it wasn't a mess.
It's true.
But if you would like, you can throw up some suggest channel that is labeled suggest box in our Discord.
So we had some weird internet there, and
Yeah.
it just sounded like you said, if you want, you can throw up.
Now?
Vendor is he's getting all like Back to the Future Mad Maxy glitchy.
Well, he's
Bring on the
frozen
stream.
now, but he had a gorgeous smile on his
Oh, there you are.
face. So there's that at
Hello?
least.
There you are.
Can you hear me now?
Vendor,
you
we
downloading
missed you.
something?
I bet you one of my house members is downloading something.
There you go.
Well, let's go ahead and end the show because that's where we are anyway.
Thank God.
Rick!
Wow.
Thank Akatosh.
Rick! Listen,
Bella.
join us next week.
Kitteris.
Join us next week for that Fallout show. I'm warning you, Rick. This is the last time. Warning you. Join us next week for that Fallout
Talos.
show.
I'm running out of Daedra. Adra?
Talos is neither, right?
No, Talos is ascended to godhood. I think
Is
they're
he?
Adra.
Is okay? Are the gods considered Adra?
Can't
I'm
remember.
far
It's been a
rustier
lo-
on my Elder Scrolls lore.
It's been a long
than-
time. It's been a
Yeah.
long time.
I don't know. But anyway, that Fallout show next week. Be here for that. Survival Horror Sunday. This Sunday. 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. We are going to dive back into Resident Evil 7. I'm going to
capital
squeal
die.
in terror. Rick is going to keep us rolling through the game. And we probably won't have our regular scheduled episode of Gamestack in 2 weeks.
What?
Sorry, I'm just trying to set the mood. It is a Valentine show.
Yes.
We're doing the outro. Just
But yeah,
continue.
the next
Should play the song,
regularly
the El
scheduled Gamestack would be on Valentine's Day. And my lovely two gentlemen co-hosts are both in committed relationships, and I anticipate that they would like to spend this holiday with their loved ones. So you can join me, the Forever Alone one, for a Valentine stream. We can play a dating sim or something. I'm open to suggestions. Email us, info@wejustlovegames.com, info@wejustlovegames.com. Find us on Twitter @WeJustLoveGames. I'm Shalene L. Rick is Rick McVick, and Vendertron is Vendertron N. I feel like we need Barry White to do the rest of the outro. Facebook.com/groups.
Hi, this is Barry White. Have you ever heard the Barry White outtakes? I'll send them to you later.
That
They're
sounds
beautiful.
glorious. Join the Discord. We record the show live at 6:30 Mountain Time, 8:30 Eastern Time on twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames. Find us on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever fine podcasts are given away. Like, subscribe, and review. Thanks for listening. Rick, do you have a last word?
I got nothing.
Oh, man, that's glorious.
This is where you do the outro.
Okay, do I roll into the outro because
Yeah,
it has the
yeah.
song, or do I just put up like the blank screen?
Oh my
so we
God,
can
just
continue with the
just
song?
go. Just
Okay,
go.
I love you. Bye.
You should have done a
Bye.
fade.